When it comes to art museums, New York City is home to some of the best in the world. But did you know that those very same museums are also home to some of the finest restaurants? We tried a couple that took us literally from east to west.
We've thought about how we can say something emphatic about seasonal cooking, how it's connected to us culturally as Americans here, but also how it relates to this space. We really have fallen in love with the minimalist design of the room and the creative environment of the museum.
Michael Anthony is the award-winning executive chef at Untitled, featured in the new Whitney Museum of American Art. The restaurant already has a James Beard Award for Best Restaurant Design and earned a 2-star review from the New York Times.
What we try to do is cook with humble ingredients that grow close to home. We try to translate them in flavors that are light, beautiful, and delicious. And then at the end of the day, they have to have a catch. There has to be something of interest that makes a New Yorker say, hey, there's something going on here. And that catch is what draws people back in.
Part of that catch is the restaurant's emphasis on farm-to-table ingredients.
I could pick up the phone and order any ingredient that I want and probably have it delivered overnight here in New York City. But it's so much more powerful when we tell our story through the lens of what grows in this area. How is it connected to the ebb and flow of the seasons?
Chef Anthony shared some of Untitled's summer menu.
So this looks absolutely just beyond delightful, downright yummy.
Colors play a big role in the way we respond to these dishes, so we think carefully about first, how do we see them? And it has to draw you in, so that plays an important role. And then the choice of the ingredients. This is a fluke dish, and it comes straight from someone who we've developed a personal relationship with, who grew up on the docks in Montauk, pairing it with maybe something slightly unconventional like husk cherries. So there's an interesting combination utilizing local ingredients that are really in their moment.
And then
this is a component of the chicken dish. So we have a rotisserie here in which we usually pair rotisserie chicken that's been brined and marinated and slow roasted till it's golden and juicy. And then a piece of that is served with this crispy kind of Korean fried chicken. And then we like to dip it in a little bit of, it's a spicy pepper sauce. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
You don't have to climb Mount Everest to experience the flavors and aromas of the Himalayas. You can go to Café Serai at the Rubin Museum of Art. Executive chef Ali Lughzada, who grew up in India, is influenced by the museum itself.
The menu inspiration at Café Serai comes from the artwork that's based in the Rubin Museum, and it has a lot to do with the Tibetan, Indian, and Chinese artworks that's around the museum. So when we make our menu, I always think about different layers of spices with different flavors. I try to hit all the notes. I try to hit the sweet, the sour, the spiciness, and a little bit of bitterness. For instance, we have a chicken tikka dish, which is very traditional in India and in England, where it was originated. So we try to create different layers, the creaminess in the sauce, the spiciness in the chicken, and then the garnish makes it super, super tender and makes it super creamy. And we try to keep it as healthy as possible, so we use coconut milk instead of heavy cream.
Then there's Café Serai's pickled beet salad, with an array of spices and topped with yogurt from the northern region of India, pleasing all the parts of your palate.
Your sweet, your sour, your little spiciness from the arugula. So it definitely creates layers of different flavors while you're eating it.
And this menu wouldn't be complete without their signature momos, Chef Lughzada's creative take on dumplings from South Asia.
What we have coming to the new menu is the Rubin Momo. So that was inspired by the name of the Rubin Museum and the very famous Rubin sandwich. So we took corned beef and made that into a momo with sauerkraut, mustard, and the Russian dressing, keeping it very classic, but giving it a really cool name, calling it the Rubin. With the flavors and aromas that's going on in the cafe, you kind of forget the entire hustle and bustle that's going outside over there, and you just have a sip of tea, relax, try some of our amazing Indian-inspired, Tibetan-inspired food, and take it all in because it's super low-key over here. It takes you out of New York City and puts you in a whole different place.
Especially on Friday nights, when it transforms itself into the K2 Lounge, offering a special Pan-Asian tapas menu to accompany the evening's DJ and events. So whether you enjoy the farm-to-table treats of Untitled or the South Asian flavors of Café Serai, you will not be disappointed.